So in our class 2 weeks ago, we concluded the topic of sadhana chatushtaya, which looking at last qualification of mumukshutvam, and we briefly looked at how does one go about getting these qualifications, which you would learn more about in Bhagavad Gita. And then we entered the very important topic of vyashti vichara, analysis of this microcosm, the jiva. And the author introduced to us some new terms: Atma, Anatma, Satyam, and Nityam. Sorry, Satyam and Mithya. The author told us that Atma is the only Satyam and the only reality, and everything else is Mithya. And what exactly is Atma and Anatma? For this, we looked at the clay pot example. We saw that when we inquire into the pot, the only thing which is substantial, only thing which can exist independently is the clay. And this is called Satyam, the reality. And the pot itself was a dependent reality. It was dependent on the clay. This is simply a different name and form given to the same Atma. And this we called Mithya. He said that Atma is Ekam, only one, but Mithya, Anatma Vastus, can be Anekam, plenty. Atma alone is Nityam, eternal, permanent, and everything else is Anityam. So this concept of Maya, sorry, did the recording start? Yes. This concept of Mithya or Maya exists only in Advaita Vedanta. Why? Because we don't want to, we find it very important to say that this is a dependent reality. It's not unreal. Advaita Vedanta accepts the reality that we perceive and experience. It says this perception is valid. It just says that there is a higher level of reality. There is the story of the Princess of Kashi. Some of you might have heard it because it's been made popular on YouTube by a great Acharya these days. It's to explain this, some of the reasons we use this concept of Mithya. So the story goes like this. Eons ago in Kashi, at the royal palace, there was a play being organized. And for the play, they needed a young girl. But there was no young girl to be found. So the queen said, okay, the young prince, who was 5 at the time, he can be dressed up as the girl. So he can be dressed up as the princess, which was required in the play. So they did that, and then the play went on. And after everything was over, the queen thought, oh, the prince looks so beautiful dressed up as the young girl, so we must make a painting. So she had a painting drawn up of the young prince dressed in this outfit. And then years went on, the painting got put away somewhere, and the young prince became a young man. It was 15 years later. So he was about 20. He was exploring the palace one day, looking at the various rooms and hidden passages and so on. He comes across this cellar. So he's exploring that cellar. It has a lot of these beautiful boxes and paintings and things like that. And he comes across this painting of the young girl. And he's completely captivated by this painting. And he looks at the date of the painting and he says, oh, she must be about my age. And he falls completely in love with the girl in the painting. And he thinks, if I marry anyone, it must be this girl alone. And it looks like she's a princess. So he gets into this love haze or whatever, and but he's very shy, so he doesn't tell anyone, not even his parents, the king and the queen. But everyone starts to notice that something is bothering the prince. He becomes more and more withdrawn and subdued. So finally, they send their wise minister, who the prince likes, to talk to him. And the minister comes and asks, young prince, what's bothering you? You can trust me. Tell me what's bothering you. So the prince confides, I've fallen in love. The minister says, okay, that's all great, but why are you so sad? Is she someone unsuitable? The prince says, no, actually, she's a princess. The minister says, wow, that sounds great. What's the problem then? I will talk to your parents for you. And the prince says, well, the problem is I haven't actually met her yet. I've only seen a painting of her. The minister says, oh, okay, maybe we can track her down. Can you show me this painting? So the prince takes the minister to the painting and shows it to him. So the minister then obviously knows, he was there many years ago. He knows what this is about. So he says, young prince, you must sit down for what I have to tell you. So, and then he tells the prince, actually, this is you. Tattvamasi. This is none other than you. And he explains the story of the play, him getting dressed up, and how this painting was taken. And then what happens? What happens to all this love the prince felt, all this desire and craving the prince felt? It disappears because he realizes that the thing he wanted was none other than him. So instant vairagyam. That's one of the reasons we have this concept of mithya. It is to generate vairagyam. It is to, second, is to also point out that what you're looking for is right there. When you look at the clay pot, where is the clay? It is right there. It's right where the cup is. The entire world, this entire world and all the things you desire in this world is your princess of Kashi. Everything you desire is within you. It is you. That is one of the reasons we have this concept of mithya. And this is where Advaita differs from the yogic path, right? So the yogic path, which says one must do intense tapas and achieve these high states of samadhi. It's a bit asking you to switch off from the world. Instead, Advaita is saying, keep your eyes wide open, be present in the world, be involved in the world, but see it for what it is. Know that there is a higher reality than what you see, and that higher reality is you. Any questions? So that was just a brief recap of what is mithya, and now we will answer, go to the next verse. So I will chant and you can repeat after me. Unmute yourself. Atma kaha,
Atma
Stula Sukshma,
Stula Sukshma
Karana Shareeradi,
Karana Shareerama-P1
Vyatiriktaha,
Yatiriktaha
Panchakoshatitaha,
Panchakoshatitaha San
Avastatraya Sakshi,
Avastatraya Sakshi
Satchidananda Swarupaha San,
सच्चिदानन्दस्वरूपः सन्
यतिष्ठति
यतिष्ठति
स आत्मा.
स आत्मा.
Thank you. So the student asks, what is Atma? And there is also an unasked question, what is Anatma? And our author here, in order to answer what is Atma, is relying on explaining what is Anatma. It is like trying to understand the unseen electricity. You might mistake it for the fan or the light it's running, but it's something else. So it's not like there is a confusion, like we said many times, of what I am. It's not just that there is complete ignorance of what I am, there is a confusion. So to remove this confusion, we also talk about the anatma that we confuse ourselves with. The author is dividing the anatma into three groups: the Shareera-Trayam, the three bodies, and which we will look at shortly, the Kosha Panchakam, the fivefold layers of the human personality or the physiological system, you can say. So it's just looking at the same three bodies from a different angle. And we also look at it from Avastatrayam, the threefold states of experience that we have. This waking state, the dream state, and the deep sleep state. So the simple translation is that, let me share this. So the simple translation is, for what is Atma, it is Stula, Sukshma, Karana, Shareeradi, Vyatiriktaha, means it is that which is different from these three bodies: the Stula Shareeram, the gross body; the Sukshma Shareeram, meaning the subtle body; and the Karana Shareeram, meaning the causal body. Atma is different from all these. And Panchakosha means the fivefold physiological system, the five sheets in short. It is beyond these five sheets. Avastha Traya Shakshi, it's not the one of these three states of our experience, but it is the witness, Sakshi, meaning the witness of these three states of experience. And Satchidananda Swarupa San means it is of the nature of Sat Chit Ananda. And Yatishtati Sahatma, this is Atma. So this is a summary verse of what we are going to look into over the next few classes. So we will look at what are the three bodies, the five sheets, and the three states of experience, and so on, and Satchitananda, of course. So we will come to all these. So basically, the author is using three different kinds of classifications to understand. So he's using what we call, so he's saying what, he's using the Swarupa Lakshanam, which is the intrinsic property of what Atma is. Like the intrinsic property of fire is heat, of water is wetness. So the intrinsic properties of Atma is Sat Chit Ananda. He's also looking at Tatastha Lakshanam. So if someone's coming to your house and they're on your street and you want to tell them, my house is the one with the red car parked outside, right? It's an incidental property of your house. That car will go away. So that incidental property is the this avastatraya sakshi. It is the witness of the threefold states of experience. It doesn't mean the Atma will not there if these experiences are not there. It's incidentally happens to be the witness when these experiences are there. And then we're also looking at the properties of what Atma is not. Right? It is not the gross body, it is not the subtle body, and it's not the causal body. So 3 different kinds of definitions are being shown. So Atma, what Atma is not, or we can call it Anatma, is these 3 classifications are given. 3 bodies, Shareera-Trayam, Panchakosha, 5 sheets, and Avastathrayam. And the 3 states of experience. Atma is different from all these. Okay, I think let's chant let's chant the next one. Stula Shareeram Kim
Stula Shareeram
Panchīkrita
Panchīkrita
Panchamahabhutaihi
Panchamahabhutaihi
Kritam
Kritam
Tatkarmajanyam
Satkarmajanyam
Sukha Dukkhadi Bhogayatanam
Shukadukha Bodhayatanam
Shareeram Asti
Shareeram Asti
Jayate
Jayate
Vardate
Vardate
Viparinimate
Viparinamate
Akshayate
Apakshayate
Vinashyatiti
Vinashyatiti
Shadvikara
Satvikara
Vadetat
Vadetat
Stula Shareeram.
Stula Shareeram
Let's go back to that. Okay, so now we are looking at all the classifications of an Atma, right? So of course, the author just gave all the words and left it there. So the student now asks, what is Stula Shareeram? What is that first body that we're talking about? So the answer says, the simple translation is Panchīkrita Pancha Mahabhutehi, which is the fivefold, the 5 elements after they've undergone the process of grossification, this process of grossification we will look at later. So it's made from these 5 elements after the process of grossification. And we can see that, right? So we're talking about the physical body now, how it is made from the 5 elements. We'll talk about it more. Let me give you the full translation. Satkarma Janmyam means it is born out of good karma. Sukha Dukkhadi Bhogayatanam. It is Bhogayatanam means Yatanam is vehicle, Bhoga is to experience. It is a vehicle to experience the Sukham, the happy experiences, and Dukkham, the unhappy experiences. And Adi refers to the mixed experiences. It's a vehicle to experience these. And Shadvikara means the 6 changes which happen, which are asti, jayate, vardhate, viparniyamate, apakshiyate, vinashyati, which I'll explain. That is the Stula Shareeram, he says. So the Stula Shareeram is what is the condition of this body? It is gross, meaning it is visible, tangible. We can say it is Indriya Gocharam, meaning it is perceptible to the senses, right? So it is perceptible to all your sense organs, all your eyes, ears, touch. It's perceptible to all these different senses. And the author gave us 2 causes of this body. One, we can call it a general cause, a samanya karanam, which was the 5 elements after they have undergone the process of grossification. So your body, my body, we're all made of the same 5 elements. In fact, everything in creation is made of these 5 elements. So can we observe the 5 elements in this body that we have? So elements being Prithvi, earth, right? So the food grows from Prithvi, and this food we eat, even if we are non-vegetarians, there is some animals eat this food which is grown, we eat those animals, right? So whatever food we eat comes from the earth and it becomes part of this body. This earth element is very visible in our body. And then we have jalam, water. We all know that there is a lot of water in this body, more than 70%, in fact. It's what gives shape to our body. And then Agni, fire element. This body must have a certain temperature to be alive, 98.6 degrees, a few degrees less or more, and the body will no longer survive, right? So there is a particular temperature, Agni, fire to the body. We are also aware of the digestive fire. If our digestive fire is weak, we will not be able to digest our food, right? And if it's too strong, we will get acidity or something. So the fire element is also very observable in the body. And then Vayu, air. So we breathe in air, we breathe out air, and we know that the air circulates inside our body, making a lot of functions possible. Then the space element, Akasha. So the body itself occupies a certain amount of space, right? And there is space inside the body. Many of our joints, etc., will have some certain space inside this body. So we are all made of these 5 elements, same as everything in creation. But why is it that my body looks different from your body, being made of the same exact 5 elements? So the author says there is also a specific cause, a Vishesha Karma. And this, he said, is Sat Karma Janya, which is karma. Sat karma actually means good karma. It is karma of our past life, which gives the specific body that we have. So it doesn't just determine the physicality of this body, but also, what parents which kind of parents we are born to, what kind of circumstances we are born with, what privileges or challenges we will have in this birth. This karma determines all these things. And the author says it's sat karma because Shastra tells us there is an immense amount of good karma required for a human birth. Even if some people might not believe they have good karma because they face such challenging circumstances, it still required an immense amount of good karma to even get a human birth. And this is supposed to be the most special of births, with even the devatas are envious of, because it is only in human birth that moksha, liberation, is possible. It is only in this birth that this cycle of birth and death can be ended. Right? So And Bhoga, so the author told us this is the function of this body is Bhoga Yatanam. Bhoga is experiencing, Yatanam was the Ayatanam means the vehicle. So this body is the vehicle for all the different experiences that once you have this body, you're born with a certain karma associated with that body, and there is a certain karma meant to be exhausted in this birth. And to go around and experience this karma that is coming your way, you need a vehicle, and this body serves as a vehicle for these experiences. And the nature of the body is that it's constantly changing. It undergoes the 6 changes listed here, which are known as Shadvikara, right? So the first stage is Asti. It comes into potential existence, that is the moment of conception. Jayate, then that is the moment of birth. Vardate, it's the moment of the growing years, where the body, the physical body, grows from baby to toddler to adulthood. And then there is a period of viparanyamate, maintenance. There is no growth, no decay if you're treating it well. And this body is maintained after you reach that adult body. It's maintained in that state for a certain amount of time. But very soon there is apakshiyate, which is the decay of the body. When the body starts getting old, you start getting the gray hair, the wrinkles, we literally start shrinking, right? So that's the decay phase. The old age comes in. And inevitably, there is vinashyati, which is death of this physical body. So a lot of the problems actually that we have, a lot of physiological problems that we have is because we refuse to accept these last 2 stages, which are inevitable. The decay and the destruction of this body is as certain was certain from the moment of birth. This is the inevitable flow of life, but we refuse to accept it, and we cling to this physical body, seeking immortality from this very mortal body, and this causes us a lot of problems. Right. So, yeah, let's chant again. Sukshma Shareeram Kim
Sukshma Shareeram Kim
Panchīkrita
Panchīkrita
Panchamahabhūtaihi
Panchamahabhūtaihi
Kritam
Kritam
Tatkarmajanyam
Satkarmajanyam
Sukha Dukkhadi Bhogayatanam
Sukha-dukkhadi
Shareeram. Oh, sorry.
Shareeram
It's the same Stula Shareeram I'm chanting again. All right, sorry. Sukshma Shareeram Kim we chanted. We will chant now. Apanchīkritam
Apanchīkritam
Panchamahabhūtaihi Kritam
Panchamahabhūtaihi Kritam
Satkarmajanyam
Satkarmajanyam
Sukha Dukkhadi Bhoga Sadhanam
Sukha-dukkhadi-bhoga-sadhanam
Pancha Jnanendriyani
Pancha-jnanendriyani
Pancha Karmendriyani
Pancha-karmendriyani
Pancha pranadayah.
पञ्चप्राणदयः
Manashchaikam.
मनश्चैकम्
Tishchaika.
बुद्ध्यैका
Evam saptadashakalabihi.
एवं सप्तदशकालानि
Sah yatishtati.
सह यतिष्ठति
Tat Sukshma Shareeram.
तत्सूक्ष्मशरीरम्
Thank you. Yeah, sorry. It's the first parts is very similar, as you can see. So for Stula Sharinam, it said Panchikritam, and for Sukshma Shariram, now the author is telling us Apanchikritam Panchamahabhutaihi. Can everyone mute themselves? Yeah, thank you. So this Sukshma Shariram, the subtle body, is also made of the same 5 elements, but before they underwent the process of grossification. So before the process of grossification, the 5 elements were also subtle in nature. And the subtle 5 elements make the subtle body. And this is again the same Samanya Karanam, the general cause of this subtle body for everyone. And there is a specific cause, which is the, again, Satkarma Janmya, the karma, the good karma of past lives is responsible for this human subtle body that you have right now. It is again a vehicle for experiencing sukham, dukkham, and mixed experiences. So it says sadhanam. Sadhanam is sukha dukkhadi bhoga sadhanam. Sadhanam is by the means of which we acquire something or we do something, right? So it is the vehicle for all these kinds of transactions. And then the author is telling us what makes up the subtle body. So it's the 5 pancha jnanendriyas, the 5 jnanendriyas, pancha karmendriyas, the 5 karmendriyas, pancha prana, the 5 pranas, manaha, the mind, buddhihi, the intellect, and these saptakalabihi, the 17 components that he described, these together make the Sukshma Shariram. So we will go into what all these are, of course, very shortly. So the condition of this subtle body is that it's not visible. It is indriya agocharam, like not perceptible to the senses. So right now, we're in a class. I can see many of your faces on the screen, but what's happening in your mind, whether you're present or you're dreaming of what you're going to eat for breakfast, I have no idea, right? So because I cannot see your mind, but your mind is noble to you. So it is partially knowable, at least. It's not fully knowable like the gross body, which is visible to everyone. And the causes we looked at, all our subtle bodies have the same cause, the subtle 5 elements, and we have a specific cause which makes yours different from mine, which is the karma. Right? So this subtle body has a slightly longer lifetime than your physical body. The physical body is only for this birth. So at the end of the karma allocated for this birth, the physical body drops and soon decays or decomposes or is burned or so on. But your subtle body travels to find another body to exhaust the rest of the karma that you have, right? So just you cannot exhaust karma just by living out this life, because that is only part of the karma allocated to you for this birth. If karma is still left to be exhausted, you will take another birth and another birth. And what karma is left will determine, will you take an animal birth or a plant birth or another human birth, and what kind of circumstances, and so on. The subtle body is only destroyed per se. It only ends at two times. It is at the time of Prahalayam, which is the cosmic destruction of the universe. So it's not exactly destroyed. When we say destroyed, it means the individual subtle body will merge into the cosmic subtle body. So it will go into a unmanifest state and go into a merger. And when there is a new cycle of creation, these individual subtle bodies are well maintained. So Ishvara is like this intelligent farmer who maintains all the seeds, different seeds for the next crop. So all these seeds and then perfectly intact create these new subtle bodies again in the next creation. Or the subtle body can be again destroyed at the time of moksha. So again, by this destruction, we mean that there is no individuality left. It's like a burnt seed. This can no longer give rise to a new birth, but it's the individuality merging into the cosmos, like it's merging into the universality, right? So the function of the Sukshma Shareeram was the same, as an instrument for experiences in this world. And it is changing, constantly changing, but has a longer life than the Stula Shareeram that we just talked about. And the constituents were all these different. So it talked about 17 constituents, and we will look at each of these. So the Gyanendriyas is right. Yeah. So the first of these classifications was the Pancha Gyanendriyas, the 5 sense organs. So this is, yeah, the author gives us what they are, and the next, let me check if there was something else to chant there. Okay, so yeah, on your page 7, we will continue chanting. Shotram Tvak
Shotram Tvak
Chakshurasana
Chakshurasana
Pranamiti
Pranamiti
Panchagyanendriyani
Panchayandriyani
Shotrasya Dvigdevata
Shotrasya Digdevata
Vacho Vayuhu
Vacho Vayuhu
Chakshushah Suryah
Chakshusha Suryaha
Rasanaya Varunah
Rasanaya Varunaha
Granasya Ashwinau
Granasyasvinau
Iti Gyanendriya Devataha
Iti Jnanendriya Devataha.
Right. So our first classifications are the 5 sense organs. So the first phrase kind of just gave us the names of this. So Shotram is ears, Twak is skin, Chakshuhu is the eyes, Rasanaha is the tongue, and Grahanam is the nose. But I have to make a distinction here. Indriyas that we're talking about is different from what we say golakam. So when I say eyes, skin, ears and all that, I'm not meaning the physical eyes and the physical skin, because these are there even in a dead person, but a dead person cannot see or cannot touch, right? So if you look at a blind person, the golakam, the physical eyes would be present, but they cannot see. So the power of sight comes from what we call the indriyam. So when we say the subtle bodies has these 5 panchagyana we're talking about the power behind the ears, the power behind the sense of touch, power behind eyes, power behind the sense of taste, and power behind the nose, which gives us this ability to smell. So that power behind is called the indriyam. The physical part itself is just the golakam. So the physical golakam of the ear is there even for a deaf person, but the indriyam is not functioning so well, which is why the person cannot hear. Right? So that's the 5 Jnana Indriyas which belong to the subtle body. And then the author just tells us what are the presiding deities of each of these Indriyams. So now these deities or devatas that we talk about in Sanatana Dharma, they refer to just the energy behind, the power behind certain forces. So we all have a certain ability to see, but say a cat can see much better than us. We all have a certain ability to smell. A dog can smell much better than us. So we all have a limited ability for all these perceptions. So the combined ability of all these is called a devata in this culture. So the combined ability of hearing is Dig Devata. That's Shotrasya Dig Devata. The combined ability of this perception of touch is Vayu Devata. And this combined ability of seeing is Surya Devata, which is why if someone has poor sight, not in Vedanta, of course, but in the ritualistic part, they will also say you can chant Aditya Hridaya Stotram, which is another name for the Lord Surya, and this will help you with your sight, right? So this Rasana Devata, the Devata behind this power of tasting, is Varuna, and Dranasya, the smelling, is Ashwino, the twin Ashwin Devatas, which preside over the left and the right nostril. So these are the Jnanendriyas. So to understand this concept of Devatas, you can look at like how a city functions, right? So so in a city, there might be like a mayor or something who handles the city, who's responsible for the entire city. But each function, like say the municipality, the water system, the electricity, each of these could be different people will have this responsibility. So if these different people were the individual devatas, the combined power of managing the entire city, the mayor, would be Ishvara. So this combined power of everything that we see in universe is what we call Ishvara. So right? God can be translated in many terms. And what is the function or field of these sense organs is being given in this verse. I can chant and you can repeat. Shotrasya Vishaya Shabdagrahanam.
श्रोत्रस्य
श्रोत्रस्य विषयः शब्दग्रहणम्
Vacho Vishaya
वाचो विषयः
Sparshagrahanam.
स्पर्शग्रहणम्
Chakshusho Vishaya
चक्षुषो विषयः
Rupagrahanam.
रूपग्रहणम्
Rasanaya Vishaya
रसनाय विषयः
Rasagrahanam.
रसग्रहणम्
Pranasya Vishaya
घ्राणस्य विषयः
Gandhagrahanam iti.
गन्धग्रहणम्
So it's not the most complex verse. It simply says, going to mute everyone. Okay. So Vishaya means what is the field of operation. So Shotrasya Vishaya, the field of operation of this organ of hearing is Shabda, is Grahanam, means grasping of the sounds. And the field of operation of Tva, the organ of touch, is Sparsha Grahanam, is grasping the feel of things. And Chakshusho Vishaya Rupa Grahanam, the field of operation of this eyes, Chakshu Indriyam, is Rupa Grahanam. Rupa means shape, is the grasping of the shape of things. And similarly for the nose, it's, similarly for the tongue, it is the taste. And for the nose, it is the smells. That is the field of operation of all these Indriyams, is all it says. And then we come to the organs of action. Okay. So let's do it together. So this will be on the top of, not on the top, in the somewhere in the middle of your page 8, page 9, top.
Is it the middle of page 8?
Yeah, I'm not able to open that. Okay, let's just do it from this itself then. Okay, so now we're looking at the 5 karmendriyas, and this is Vak, Pani,
वाक्पाणि
Pada, Payu,
पादपायु
Upasta iti, Upastaniti,
उपस्थायति
Panchakarmendriyani.
पंचकर्म इंद्रियाणि
So the second set of the second classification under the subtle body is the 5 karmendriyas, which means the organs of action. So the gyanendriyas were your input organs, because of which you're able to receive input from the world. That's how in this vehicle that you have, you're going about getting input through your 5 Jnanendriyas. And then you're able to give output, perform and interact with this world with your 5 Karmendriyas, which are Vak, mouth, which is the organ of speech, Pani, hands, the organ, again, we're talking about the Indriyam, not the Golakams. It's not the physical hands, but the power behind these hands, which allow me to go grasp things and all. Pada, feet or leg. Payu, the organ of evacuation. And Upastha, which is your organ of reproduction. And the 5 presiding deities are Vacho Devata Vahnihi,
Vacho Devata Vahanihi,
Hastayorindriyah,
Hastora Indriyaha,
Pado Vishnuhu,
Padayo Vishnuhu,
Ayor Prityuhu,
Payo Prithu,
Upastaya Prajapatihi.
Upastasya Prajapatihi.
So again, the presiding deities of your 5 Karmendriyas are given here. For Vak, the speech devata is Vahnihi. Hasta, hands, is Indraha. And Pado is, the feet is Vishnu. Payor is for the organ of evacuation. It is Mrityuhu, also known as Lord Yama, the Lord of Death, right? And Upastaya, for the organ of reproduction, the presiding deity is Prajapatihi, and these are the Karmendriya Devatas, is all it says. Again, the function and field of activity is given. We can skip chanting it. I'll just read it out. Vacho Vishya Bhashanam, Payor Vishya Vastu Grahanam, Pador Vishya Gamanam, Payor Vishya Malatyagaha, Upastyasya Vishya Ananda Iti. So what is the field of operation, field of activity of each of these indriyams is given is for the Vak, the field of operation is speech. And for field of operation of hands is Vastu Grahanam. Vastu is object, Grahanam is grasping. So grasping of objects is the field of operation of hands. And field of operation of Pada is Gamanam, means locomotion, moving around. And the field of operation of this Payor is evacuation. Malatyagaha is the removal, means the removal of waste, literally. And it says the field of operation of Upastya, the organ of reproduction, is Ananda. Of course, the activity itself can be joyful. It is also called the field of operation as Ananda because the process of creating a child and the child gives a lot of ananda to people. So people say, I will live through this child and so on. So this process of reproduction, having a child is of deep ananda for a lot of people, which is why this is called Ananda. And then we have the Pancha Prana. So maybe it's a good time to stop here. I know this class has been a bit technically heavy. I know there's a reason. It all ties together somewhere. These are one of these things we must do. And I have to admit, when I was doing Tattva Bodha, this was not the most interesting part for me either. But so I hope you all stuck through the class and were okay with it. As you study more and more with Vedanta, you will see the reason for why we do these things. It all ties together somewhere. Right? So any doubts in anything that we covered?
Yes, Vandana ji, I wanted to ask something.
Yes.
Yeah, in the past recording of last class, past recording in the sense, last session, I saw your recording, and in that thing you described this Atma Kaha as a method of negation, Vyavhartik Lakshanam, Swarupa Lakshanam, and Tatastha Lakshanam. So
Yeah.
I just, this time you didn't teach it, so I wanted it in a more clarified manner.
Okay. So we did cover it. Maybe I don't remember if I gave all the names again. So Swarupa Lakshanam was Satchitananda. The very first phrase we saw, Atma Kaha, was, one second, let me come back to that phrase. So it said Atma is, if you want, I can put that up again. So Atma Kaha, this, it said Stula Sukshma Karana Shareeradi Vyatirikta. So it's different from these three bodies. This is the Vyavarta Lakshanam. This is saying it's different from this. Even Pancha Kosha Tita San, it's beyond these 5 sheets. This is all Vyavarta Lakshanam, which is saying what Atma is not. Right?
Yeah.
Avastatraya Sakshi, it is the
Tatastha Lakshanam.
it is the Tatastha Lakshanam. It is that red car parked outside the house. The incidental quality of Atma is this Avastatraya Sakshi, and Satchidananda Swarupa, the intrinsic
Okay.
Swarupa Lakshanam is Satchidananda Swarupa.
Okay. Yes, Vyavhartik Lakshanam, I didn't understand. That's
Yeah, I might not have mentioned it again, but yes, it's to this the 3 bodies, which Atma is not, the 5 sheets, which the Atma is not, is the Vyavahartika Lakshanam.
one more, madam. What is the, you told that there was 2 causes of Stul Sharira or Sukshma Sharira. Specific cause was Vishesh Lakshanam because of the Satkarma of last births. Okay, but general cause is what?
There
Samanya
are
Karana.
5 elements. So for the Stula Shareeram, it is Panchikrita Panchamahabhutaihi, which is the 5 elements which have undergone the process of grossification, give rise to the gross body and all this gross universe that we see. Apanchikrita Panchamahabhutaihi, the 5 elements before they have undergone the process of grossification, give rise to the subtle body and all the subtle elements that we have in creation. So what I mean by process of grossification, we will look at a bit later in the text, because we will look at how creation came to be. So in that we will look at the steps of the 5 elements, the process of grossification, how this universe came to be, and so on.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions?
Like in today's class, we spoke about something where we said once we are released, the seed is harvested by God. So that seed is the Sukshma Sharira.
No, I mean, we will talk about it more when we come to the causal body. But basically to say, I mean, I understand where you're getting confused, because I give the analogy of a seed when I'm talking about the causal body. But it's just to say the Sukshma Shareeram itself, leave aside the analogy, the Sukshma Shareeram itself does not get destroyed at death, right? Your Stula Shareeram, the gross body, is done with at the time of death, but your Sukshma Shareeram lives longer. Your Sukshma Shareeram also carries your entire karma. This whole bucket of karma is attached to the Sukshma Shareeram. Right? So it travels with you, but from that huge bucket of karma, a particular karma was given for this birth, which is attached to this particular body. So even when that finishes and the cross body is done with at that point, the Sukshma Shareeram, the subtle body, still has your whole basket of karma. So it travels with you, and from that, a new bit of karma is allocated for the next birth.
Thank you.
So I was saying the only time it's this Sukshma Shareeram dies or ends is at the time of Pralayam, the cosmic resolution of the universe, or at the time of moksha. Right. So, but even at both times, in both places, the destruction has to be understood as in a specific way, because even at does it mean that we all get moksha at the time of Pralayam?
Pralayam.
We don't, right?
Oh.
The Sukshma Shareeram, it will go back to some kind of unmanifest form, but it is still there. When a new creation comes, there will be that many Sukshma Shareerams again, and that there can be that many potential jivas again. But, yeah.
Sorry, I mean, I probably am going to ask a question which belongs to a later part of the class, but since the topic came up about Sukshma Sharira and that only at Pralayam and Moksha, so for a Jivan Mukta, someone who's a Jnani, he is supposed to have gotten Moksha, right? While alive.
Right.
So the Sukshma Sharira is still functioning in that Sthula Sharira at that point, though.
Yes, this question does belong to a later part, but I'll answer it very briefly in the sense that, yeah, the Sukshma Shareeram is still, and people who haven't done the later part don't pay too much attention right now. So the Sukshma Shareeram is still functioning, karma is still functioning in the sense that the Jivan Mukta is not having any suffering, but he's still getting experiences, right? Because karma is still there. It's just that it no longer has the capacity to generate a new birth. Right? So there is two benefits which happen at moksha. One is no more rebirth. So this, whatever seeds of Sukshma and Karna Shareeram are there, they become like burnt seeds. The seeds are still there, but the burnt seed can no longer sprout anything new. So new birth can no longer come. And there is no more suffering. So the experiences, the karma attached with that birth will still bring experiences that could be sukham or dukkham for a normal person, but for a Jivan Mukta, there is no suffering because they see the world for what it is, right? So it's like you go to a movie and you can get completely absorbed in the movie, right? You can you can cry with the movie, you can laugh with the movie, but at some point you can even either after movie ends or during the movie itself, you start crying and you realize, hey, I'm being silly, it's just a movie, you know, and whatever sadness you feel can disappear. Or you can say, okay, like today I'm going to fully get immersed in this movie and let it carry me wherever it wants, right? And knowing it is a movie, you can still choose to allow it to move you. So that's a Jivan Mukta. They know it for the movie it is, but yeah. Any other questions? Let's do the ending prayers. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Om Tat Sat.
Thank you, Spandana ji.
Thank you, Spandana ji.
Have a great week.
Thank you.